The next thing you can do is another problem a lot of people do is they try to bite off too much of the lake. Now, if you're fishing a typical man-made lake, it may be anywhere between 5,000 to 100,000 acres. Now, I'm not talking about you guys that are fishing like ponds and smaller, little community lakes or something. I'm talking about typical man-made lakes. They're giant. And obviously you can't do everything. You can't cover the whole lake and you can't throw everything that's in your tackle box. So one of the things that a lot of people do is they try to cover too much water and do too much stuff. The best thing that you can do is make a game plan and simplify a little bit. And the simplification has to do with the area that you're fishing and the techniques that you're going to fish in that area. So make a decision before you go to the lake based upon the time of the year and all the information you have. You may say, well, yeah, I'm going to go down on the lower end of the lake and there's 2 creeks down there. I'm going to spend all day in there. Or you might say, I'm going to run way up that river and I'm going to spend all day in that river. Or you might say, there's a section of the lake down here in the mid lake and it's got tons of boat docks on it. I'm just going to fish those docks all day. And then decide the same with your technique. Try to come up with maybe half a dozen techniques and get into those areas and commit to those areas and figure out what the fish are doing and how they're positioned and how they want to bite. So that immediately makes it where it's not quite so overwhelming. Okay, another thing, and this is a big one, guys, more than anything else, you have got to fish at the right pace and you cannot slop through an area and expect to catch a fish. If there's one thing that undermines people's success in bass fishing more than anything else is what I call they slop through an area. And in other words, they're not paying attention to it. They're not paying attention to changes in water clarity or the type of cover. They're not being precise with their casts. When they're running the trolling motor, they're either coming into a piece of cover too fast or too slow, or they're too, their casting angles are off, or they're fishing way too fast. It could be a lot of different things. You can't do that. You have to focus on being quiet, number one, making really good casts, really good accurate casts. Be precise with your boat positioning. If you're coming up to a lay down tree in the water or a dock or something like that, take time to study the wind and the current, position your boat correctly. And then when you're working your lure, don't overwork it. Make sure that you're giving the fish time to get it. Don't work it for a foot or two and reel it in. A lot of times when you're not catching fish, you tend to speed up a little bit. And the more that you speed up when you're fishing, the less that you're going to catch. So when you're talking about slopping through an area, it has to do with pace. Now, I'm not saying that you should fish slow all the time, but you have to find the right pace.